the baby's delivered and it goes into the water, I don't know how high the water is, but when the baby goes in there, do you go ahead and grab them up right away so they can start breathing? Or, I mean, because once they come out of the womb, they have to breathe on their own.
hmm So they're going from a water environment to a water environment. So their contact with the air and their first exposure for their lungs does not happen until they're lifted out. And once we're out of the water, we don't ever go back under because that's when it would become dangerous for baby, right? But in those moments of transition from being birthed into the water and then coming up to mom's chest. We can take a little bit of time, a couple of seconds there. Everybody can take a deep breath and really settle themselves back in the space. And then mom usually reaches down with the midwife cradling the baby for her, and she brings her baby up to the air, and that moment in between water to air, when that contact happens on baby's skin, that's when they have their first trigger to open their lungs and their alveoli. So
Oh,
the
wow.
pressure change doesn't change from mom's womb to underwater, and they just don't expand their lungs under there.
Oh, wow. Well, thanks for that. I had no idea. And I always wondered about that. I'm like, what the heck? So basically, when we're born, we could be amphibian for a little bit. And
I
then,
had somebody say that the other day. They're like, so if we just never come out, if we were born in the water and just never come out, do we turn into Aquaman? I was like, I'd rather not test that theory, but
I agree with you. But I mean, that's really interesting. And I'm sure that's a question that many do have. So thanks for answering that so eloquently.
yeah, our amazing anatomy and physiology is it's mind blowing. But yeah, they're safe. It's very, very safe.
Awesome. So beyond pregnancy and birth, Beginnings Birth Center offers services like well woman care, lactation support, and newborn care up to, I think it said 28 days. Could you
Mhm.
explain how these services provide comprehensive support for women and new families, potentially easing the transition into parenthood, especially if they're first-time parents?
Yeah. The postpartum is definitely a sacred time for families. There is a lot of change that has happened for those families. And so we are adamant about providing support for women in these days and weeks to come after postpartum, and in that transitional period with baby. One of the biggest ways we can do that is by seeing mom and baby together. We don't have to report to two different entities, meaning a pediatrician and an OBGYN, because what affects the newborn is probably affecting mom, and what's affecting mom is probably affecting that newborn. They are a dyad, and so we want to treat them as such. So we see families together in the postpartum. Their very first time being seen will be just 24 to 48 hours after the birth. We like to get them home and tucked into bed so that they can rest and bond together. But then we want to have that check in to make sure that we've turned the corner from birth, that baby is feeding well. And we also have some things that we need to do for our Colorado birth certificates, some testings for baby that are required in that time frame. After that, we're going to usually check in at the 2 week mark as well. Again, more nice big transitions. Baby should be well above birth weight at this time. Mom and baby should be settling into their relationship a bit better. And we're able to see a good picture or be able to see any hurdles that that family has come up against in these first 2 weeks, and hopefully nip those so that they can experience a blissful postpartum together. And then, of course, we're going to do our 6 week checkup for mom. That's the fun one where we get the A-OK to go back to exercise and intimacy. So that's kind of the side of it where we're able to take care of them in the postpartum. We do circumcisions here for babies. Our midwives perform those. And as far as lactation support in this time, we are a site for Mother's Milk Bank. So we are able to provide the community with donor human breast milk and also a lactation support group for our clients as well that meets once a week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
So
lots of care for mom and baby.
absolutely.
lots of eyes on what's going on so that they can transition well.
Absolutely.